One big pitfall that people run into is variations, and it's very understandable because it's a little tricky because variations are treated differently in every category on Amazon. So I just want to go over what the pitfalls people run into are. So the first pitfall is that not every category allows variation relationships. So what is a variation relationship? Let me show you. This is a variation relationship, okay? And there's different types, and essentially, so here we could see the different colors. This is a color one, okay? And what we do is if we were to run the sales estimate here, you'll see that it says the same amount of sales for every one here. But that's not true. These are not all doing $8,291 a month, okay? This is because some categories, it just treats the BSR the same for all of them. And so I think that if you were to add all, basically, the thing is here, it's different for every category. So this, I think when it does this, this means for if you were to add up all the sales on this whole listing, that this is the BSR for that, okay? So essentially, so is that if that's a little bit confusing, just know that whatever one is ranking at the top, and so essentially what we did was we looked up glasses, okay? So this one shows right here, okay? So this is the best selling one. Now, if we were to run this viral launch again, basically from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody, but I talked to Greg at Jungle Scout and he was telling me that this is how it works. So this $8,291 means that that's the amount of monthly revenue between all three of these, okay? But it's different. In some categories, they actually do show the correct BSR for each one. So it is a little bit tricky. You just have to really dig in and do your research. And now the question is, which variation sells how much? Well, the way that we do that is we go down here and we would look at the reviews, okay? And there's not a really great way to do this, but you have to look at the color. So here it says gold. Here it says gold, silver, okay? Gold, silver, and you would just kind of make your own list of, okay, how many were gold and how many were silver. And then you kind of do the math. Let's say 20% was silver, 10% was the other, and then 70% was gold. Well, then you would know that 70% of that 8,300 on the sales estimate here that we had done in the beginning is the gold, and then the rest are distributed between the others. Now, this is not 100% accurate, but this is how you get close. Like we said, these tools are not 100% accurate all the time, but they give us a good idea. So definitely just take that into account. Now, we're going to go over some of the pros and cons with these. So essentially, the pros are you get to share reviews. So the higher reviews, obviously, the better. So if you're able to put all your variations together, you get to share the reviews. Now, the con is you only get to rank one product per keyword. So let me just draw it out for you. Let's say you got the 3 products here, okay? Now, let's say for the word glasses, only one of these could ever show, okay? And then, so why is that important? Essentially, why that matters is because if you were to have 3 individual listings, you could have all 3 of them showing for the word glasses and take up more real estate, get more people more likely to click and buy. So that is the difference here. But with a variation listing, let's say you have those 3 products, one of these could show for silver glasses, and then the other one could be showing for bronze, and it'd probably rank higher for those. So you kind of have to do a trade-off. Now, what are some pitfalls I see people getting into here? One is don't use too many variations, okay? I see a lot of people try to launch and they're like, oh, great, well, there's so many ways I could differentiate here. And they try to put like 10 different designs on one listing. Well, what's the problem when you do too many variations? Well, we know that Amazon ranks on what sells the best. So you get them to your page and now they might buy one of 10 products, okay? But you might not get the sale, so they buy this one, and now that this increases that one. So if they had looked up glasses, instead of that main one that sells the best, now this gets a ranking boost for that, and not your main one, which is the actual your best-selling one. So it's harder to rank and compete when you have too many variations here. And because each word, you're splitting your sales among 10 different listings on one. So here's when I think it makes sense to actually have a variation. Let's say you have your best seller, which doesn't make too much money, but then now you've got maybe an add-on, which isn't going to sell too much and is going to rank for completely different keywords, but is actually very relevant to that main product. Now that makes sense, okay? Let's say you were selling the Surface Pen here for this computer that I have. Well, this would make sense to have as an add-on because you get people on that listing and now they buy it together and all sorts of good stuff like that. Or if you have maybe a high profit, low sale thing. So for example, let's say with the Eclipse glasses, I know that the most people are going to buy, a 5-pack or something, okay? So here are glasses. So with the Eclipse glasses, let's say I know that a 5-pack is going to sell the best. So I can rank the highest because I can get the most sales through those keywords, okay? But then I offer, maybe a 100-pack as an add-on. So essentially I get people to click there, but now this 100-pack is going to be ranking for very different keywords, but I can group together these reviews here. And so maybe now I get like 10,000 reviews or something. I'm just using arbitrary numbers here. And then now this one that is a 100 bulk pack will be ranking for very different keywords than this 5-pack, but I get those shared reviews of the 10,000. And maybe, even some people looking at this 5-pack end up buying that 10-pack. Or, the people just organically looking for like bulk Eclipse glasses are, going to see this and be more likely to buy mine with 10,000. Whereas if I had it alone, maybe that 10,000, the one with 10,000 reviews, there's my wonderful star. The one with 10,000 reviews is much more clickable than the one that has, like 5 reviews, because not too many people buy the larger packs. And so essentially that's kind of when it makes sense to use variations. Just one last time, when it is an add-on or a high profit with low sales, that makes sense. So yeah, just got to be strategic when you're making the listings. If you want to know exactly how to build and what type of variation to choose, we cover that later in the listing section. But definitely something important to take. So just very quick summary here. You got to make sure that your category allows for variations. How do you do that? You go on Amazon and look at your category and look at your competitors. Do they have variations? If so, then you could probably make it. And if you can't, then you can ask Amazon, ask them a question, and they can add on that variation if your competitors have them. And then, watch out for those sales estimates. You might look and say, wow, all 3 of these are doing 8,300. I should make all 3 of those variations. Well, that's not the truth. So just take this into mind. And if you guys have any experience, horror stories or good stories with variations, leave those down below. But definitely don't ignore this. But don't be afraid of it either. Variations are very powerful. And there's some more advanced tactics that we talk about in the listing section.